The Tigers lifted themselves into the 5 at the expense of the Eagles in an entertaining encounter at Glenelg Stadium. The 3-point margin reflected the closeness of the contest, where the gap was never greater than 6 points at any of the breaks, and maintained Glenelg's unbeaten record in the under-18 competition against Woodville-West Torrens. 4 goals from Tim McIntyre, no, not that one from Sturt and the Crows, were the difference for Glenelg on a day with many standout performers. After playing a variety of positions in the opening rounds, he settled at half forward on the day and was rewarded for his great defensive pressure in laying 5 tackles. Nathan Stark was instrumental with his 31 disposals and 2 goals, and the skipper's willingness to get down and dirty were rewarded by the men in white with 5 frees. It would be remiss not to note the effort of ruckman Jed Redden also. His 12 disposals, 4 marks and 20 hit-outs were complemented by the 5 tackles he laid, equal highest with McIntyre for the most tackles for the Bays. Jared Harding, however, gave the anything you can do, I can do better to McIntyre at the Eagles' end as he booted 5 goals. The former Greater Western Sydney rookie has been excellent with his leadership skills at the club, passing on the benefits of his time under one of the best in Kevin Sheedy, gathering 21 disposals and 3 tackles, not to mention 7 hit-outs. Not bad for the 6-footer. It was a game that got away from Shane Grimm's Chargers in some ways, as they moved out to a 3-goal lead at one point before a hamstring injury to Nick Clift reduced them to only 2 on the bench. Injuries continue to be an issue across the board at Oval Avenue, as they lost a number of players to the reserves to fill in their injury holes. Tim Sumner, however, was one who seized his chance to shine, racking up 23 touches and 10 marks, not to mention 11 inside 50s, as he worked tirelessly to drag his teammates back into the contest. But it was to no avail, as their late charge fell 3 points short at the siren. Someone was always going to take away their first points of 2012 in this clash, and while Central prevailed, the Panthers showed some encouraging signs after a difficult opening 3 rounds. They were left wondering what if at quarter time, when 8 shots on goal only yielded 2 majors, but the goal-kicking Yips were also hitting their Bulldog opponents, who were left with just 1 major from their 8 shots. Then again, the Noarlunga Doctor was playing havoc with a tricky wind blowing many shots offline as both groups adjusted to the conditions. 6 goals from Jake Corstens was a top day for the Ranella product, as he ran the central defence around in gathering 14 disposals and 6 marks. After spending time in defence earlier this year, he relished the opportunity to be the one tormenting the defenders. He had a great supply from a midfield that fed off ruckman Brock Godwin-Knott's lion-hearted, or should that be panther-hearted, performance, with his 16 disposals, 7 marks and 15 hit-outs giving them first use of the ball as they skipped away early. The 190-centimetre Goolwa Port Elliot Magpies big man was brilliant as he worked at the clearances and cleared a path for his smaller teammates to work into space. Brandon Rigney was outstanding for the Bulldogs, however, and dragged them back into the game, notching 21 disposals, 6 tackles and 8 clearances. He would have been entitled to be happy with his day there. Adding 4 goals to his tally only topped off a dominant performance and showed the benefits of being mentored by Bulldog star Eddie Sansbury this season are being reaped early. If he can add the finishing skills of the former Kangaroo, he also kicked 4 behinds, then watch out for this lad as the season progresses. He rotated through centre and full forward with partner in crime Josh Glenn, who handled the ball 29 times himself between 11 marks and 6 inside 50 entries, as the Bulldogs' 3-9-0 last term brought them a 39-point win. South's last term was a major disappointment to coach Kim Cobb, who lamented his Chargers' fading concentration skills again in a game that was there for the taking. The traditionalists would have loved this match at Prospect. Free-flowing, hard-running, entertaining football with 40 goals scored was enough to warm the hearts of the older generation, particularly those sporting red and black. The Bloods moved to the top of the ladder after this clash, albeit for 5 hours. More on that later. In a better sign for the group, it was without a goal from spearhead Mason Middleton. In fact, the big forward only had 8 disposals and 2 marks as he took a backseat to Tom Schott. The Andamuka youngster had a day out to remember, racking up 23 disposals and 10 marks before helping himself to 6 goals en route to this week's MVP award. Teammate Caden Brand, hailing from Berry, joined him on the 6-goal tally. Brand's 18 disposals and 6 marks could easily have been 8 majors, but for a couple of misses. Ball magnet Owen Johnson's 36 touches, 24 by foot, and a staggering 13 clearances were enough for him to win Best On Ground honours from the club. The Roosters struggled to recover from their second and third quarters when their 8 goals were blown away by West's 17 in the same period, despite the best work of Matthew Schmidt. Racking up 6 clearances, his 27 possessions were also critical, along with Alex Spina's 26 handlings, although Spina used it far more by foot. North teammate Callum Wilkie finished much of the good work with 4 majors, but a loss of concentration in these middle stanzas would prove their undoing. Still, a quarter where 15 goals are scored in 28 minutes of football is testament to the attacking nature of the game, and the third term had the goal umpires reaching for the flags more often than a semaphore operator. The Bloods, however, always had enough in hand to hold off a charge by North Adelaide. Shot was goalless in the final stanza, but he'd done the damage to the Roosters by that point as West ran away for a 43-point win. Norwood moved to the top of the ladder in defeating the Magpies by 40 points, but not after a spirited fight back in the second term from their traditional rivals. After the Redlegs moved out to a 24-point lead at quarter time, they would have been entitled to expect an easier encounter. But Port coach Julian Farkas's Chargers had other ideas. They banged home 6-1 for the quarter to Norwood's 4-1 to narrow the margin to only 12 points at half-time. Sean Davidson showed that his age is only a number, with the third youngest Magpie on the list, leading the way with 27 disposals, 6 marks, 5 clearances for the match. He roamed far and wide for possession and combined well with West Whyalla product Ben Sawford to help drag his team back into the contest. Redleg Ben Vidic also saw plenty of the ball throughout as he racked up 35 disposals, 4 tackles and 12 clearances, the second highest number of clearances by any player throughout this round of the under-18s. Vidic hails from the Uradla Football Club in the Hills, which boasts one of the more unusual nicknames in country football, the Cabbage Cutters. Safe to say that Vidic's opponents were green with envy as he reaped what he sowed. Daniel Williamson's 29 disposals were also vital toward getting the ball into Norwood's forward 50, where Nick Dinham had a day out in attack. The overage player couldn't get out of the way of the ball as he piled up 24 possessions and a staggering 18 marks en route to a 7-goal haul. Just to put that into perspective, it was 3 times more marks than all but one player on the ground. Someone certainly had sticky hands on the day. The Magpies, only 22 points adrift at three-quarter time, tried everything to swing the momentum, but some costly clangers in the first 6 minutes of the term were the difference as they coughed up possession to Norwood, who goaled through Fred Baytel to open the margin out and start running away to a 40-point win.